And welcome back, everybody. Well, episode 87 of Pugsley's Pit, No Unwritten Rules, new name of the show. Welcome back again this week. As usual, I am Sean Pugsley Martin, and this is Mike Nelson here to talk some Major League Baseball. You can follow
Yeah.
Twitter at Pugsley's Pit, taking the podcast on YouTube. We have our personal Twitter handles there, X handles, whatever you want to call them. And as usual, remember to, as my 7-year-olds say, smash that like button. Be sure to hit the subscribe icon on YouTube to catch this broadcast and for future episodes. We're back, pitchers and catchers.
Pitchers and catchers. Hey, we only need 499,813 more subscribers, and YouTube will start paying us. So if you could subscribe, that'd be awesome. We're getting there. We're inching along. Yeah, no unwritten rules. I will steal up 11. I am swinging 3-0 up 19. I will take the drill in the back. I'll take it. I don't care.
I'll bunt if there's a no-hitter. I don't care.
I'm bunting if there's a no-hitter. I'm bunting. Everybody's bunting if there's a no-hitter. I'm hitting away from the shift. I'm all that. The unwritten rules.
Yeah, you grease a fastball on 3-0. I'm gonna swing it.
Yeah, I'm hitting an Oppo grand slam like Tatis. I don't care.
Yep.
Be better.
Just off Tony La Russa. Up 11, and I'm swinging. I'm taking my cuts.
Just be better. Don't put a score up like the Reds, like this 21-3 score behind me.
Yeah, I remember that.
I think that's Verdugo puking inside. I think he's puking inside the wall.
Speaking of the Red Sox, we are going to take a deep dive into the AL East. We have 6 weeks until opening day and 6 divisions. So guess what? Do the math. We're even smart enough to figure out we'll do a division a week for the next 6.
I know.
Now the spring train is here. At the end of the show, remember to catch the our new pitch clock and launch angle segment. Mike, it's baseball. We'll start with your group. Soto was great, but it's a 1 year right now. Have they done enough in the offseason?
That's scary, right? That's a scary proposition. He's going to light it up in New York. He's my favorite non-Yankee. He's my favorite non-Yankee in baseball, and he has been for a long time. So I'm excited as hell that he's a Yankee. Have they done enough? I don't know. They had Verdugo. They get Verdugo in a trade with the Red Sox, and hopefully that works out like the Babe Ruth trade or the Danny Cater for Sparky Lyle trade. I'm hoping that that's the direction those go. And that gave him a left-hand bat with contact, which they have not really had. But then they get Trent Grisham in the Soto deal. So now there's outfield depth.
Is that too many guys though?
I thought, you know what? They do have a challenge, right? They're kind of challenged lineup wise with maybe an extra bat always available, right? But you got to also hedge your bet that Stanton will get hurt and that Rizzo's going to get hurt again and that LeMahieu's going to get hurt because that's the trend. So they hedged their bet. I kind of thought they would have spun Verdugo in a trade after they traded for Grisham. I'm not a massive Grisham fan. I think he's Harrison Bader light.
Yep.
He's a good defensive outfielder, and he'll be able to spell Judge, and so it's not a terrible problem to have because it's not a problem that they've had in the past. I like the Stroman signing. They didn't pay much for him.
I think he's a little overrated, having him be on my fantasy team last year.
Yeah, he's not a fantasy darling.
But he's handled New York City before and handled it well.
Right.
That's the value.
He has the makeup. I think they're going to miss Michael King. I think they're going to miss IKF or Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. I think they're going to miss him because he played so many positions. And I think they're going to miss Wandy Peralta. That was the one of everybody that left. He was the one. He did a really good job for them as a lefty out of the bullpen. So, you know what? Sentimentally, I hated to see him go. But you know what? If they could have brought him back on a 1 year, $13 million, prove it or leave deal, it would have been worth it. They weren't giving him 2. They got another outfield problem coming up too because Dominguez will be back in July.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's that's the key injury that's looming in that lineup, and they were unwilling to trade Dominguez in the cast and to get Castillo. They were unwilling to trade. There were a couple deals that teams wanted Dominguez badly, and they were unwilling to trade him. He was very exciting when he came up last year, but we'll see. He's still at the league. Like the over-unders, they're projected, over-under is 93.5.
Yeah.
That's tops in the division. Frankly, I don't see it.
The AL, I think, them in Houston.
I don't. We'll see. We'll see.
Look, it comes down to pitching, right? I mean, Brian Cashman's famous for building a team to win 93 or 94 games to hit that over-under in the regular season, but they're not a playoff team, right? You got to be able to scratch.
It's almost like they've subscribed to, just get in and great things will happen, and it's been a long time. From a Yankee perspective, it's been a very long time to just get in and great things will happen. Like this has to be. He's got a job like a Supreme Court judge. Apparently, he's not going anywhere.
It's
but
crazy.
I don't know. Apparently, they have numbers in front of Snell. Apparently, so that's still bubbling. That's still like floating around. That Blake Snell could be coming soon to the Yankees, but I don't know.
The Snell contract, whoever gives him the money they're asking for, is insane.
Yeah, I don't.
You're going to get 100.
You're 100% right.
142 innings out of the guy, and pay him $25-30 million a year.
Yeah, they better make sure the bullpen's healthy if they sign him, because he's 5 innings and out.
Yeah.
He walks too many guys. To me, I mean, I know he's won 2 Cy Youngs. That's all well and good, and he's an elite talent. But I wouldn't pay him that kind of money. He's not. To me, he's not. He doesn't have that value.
What about Judge? How debilitating would another injury to him be?
Well, it's nice to have extra outfield help.
Yeah,
it's nice. It's nice to have. Some depth in the lineup that could help. If he wasn't able to play in the field and he had to slide to DH, I mean, it helps. He apparently he's worked out at first base in the offseason a little bit. So I don't know. I'm a little concerned about him playing center field. He did a really, really good job there.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about him playing center field every day and the wear and tear on him playing center field, but he's a great right fielder. He's not a better right fielder than Soto.
Yeah.
He's just not.
Where's Soto going to hit in that lineup?
I think 2.
Okay.
With Judge behind him. Either way, you flip-flop it either way. I would prefer it to be 2 and Judge hit 3, because even though Judge can steal a base, Soto's a threat to steal a base.
Okay.
And then maybe Rizzo 4. I mean, they got the ability to go lefty righty all the way up and down the lineup. So, I mean, I see projected lineups with Verdugo hitting 8. I'd lead Verdugo. I'd lead for Verdugo off. I mean, ideally, if it was me, I'd stick Volpe in a leadoff spot until he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because
is this team as is without Snell or Montgomery or anybody else to make him in? Is this a World Series contender?
I don't believe so.
What would they need to get that?
They need more starting pitching. They need Clark Schmidt to be unbelievable.
Okay.
They need Nestor Cortez to be healthy and to have the league have forgotten that they didn't figure him out like they did at the beginning of last year. And I think the pitch clock hurt him, to be honest with you. I really do. I think he was one of those guys. He's like El Tiante. I'm going to goof around out here and use 80 windups and screw around. I'm going to quick pitch you. I'm going to make you stand there until your feet fall asleep. I think he was like he would do it all. He manipulated the time to pitch as well as anybody, and I think he brought an element of surprise. But he was either far more hurt than they let on last year, or the league figured him out. And it could be a combination of both.
Yeah. Well, go to the Orioles. They're the flavor of the month. Is getting Corbin Burnes probably the best move. Soto was great move for the Yankees, but the Orioles needed a Corbin Burnes.
It would have been a great anybody that got Corbin Burnes. It was a great move.
Yep.
Sadly, it's in the division. I don't, for the life of me, I can't figure out why they're 89.5 wins.
I wonder if people are thinking there might be just a slight regression. It's a young team that got a taste of it last year. Can they take that next step? I think they can.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. Right? I think that they also had Craig Kimbrell. Have fun in Baltimore with that. Have fun. You'll enjoy it. I mean, they lose Kyle Gibson, who eats a ton of innings. They lose Adam Frazier, who was a great fit for them, but they're bringing up Jackson Holiday. Yeah. Right? They got plenty of depth behind him. They lose Aaron Hicks. He did well for them last year. It doesn't really hurt him. It doesn't really hurt him. I mean, the injuries are what to me is concerning. And like Means is already behind schedule. Of course, they don't have Bautista this year, and this Kyle Bradish injury is one to watch, right? Because that UCL, they're saying late April, May.
Yeah, that
could be June. That could be July. That could be he tried to come back and now he's out for the season. You never and he was very surprised. He surprised everybody last year.
Yeah,
he was really good. Like they're a fun team. They are a fun team, and I'll tell you, like I'm not obviously. I don't like any of these other teams in this division, even a little bit, not a tiny bit. When Camden Yards is full and they have a good baseball team, it's better for baseball.
I've talked about fan free agency if the A's ever leave Oakland, and the Orioles were the favorite to do it. But I was like, no. I've had bad ownership. I don't want the name Angelos tied to anything I'm doing. But now they're and I'm like,
that might be their best move in the offseason was the Angelos family selling that team.
It might be. So here's their pitching depth. You would expect Grayson Rodriguez, or at least hope that he's going to take that next step, right? Bradish is hurt, Means is hurt. Dean Kremer, Cole Irvin, they'll give you innings. I know Irvin from Oakland.
Yeah.
He's not great. He's going to give you a 4.50 ERA.
Yeah, if he's your 4 or 5, you're not in terrible shape if he's your 4th or 5th starter.
Yeah.
Right? He's not much different than Kyle Gibson, right? I'm going to give you a bunch of innings, and every once in a while I'm going to throw in a start. You're going to be like, wow, this guy's really good.
Yeah, Kremer won 13 games last year too. So
yeah, I mean, and they got more kids coming.
Yeah,
they got problems. As hard as that is to believe, like they got problems with kids on the way that are going to push. I mean, they got their organizational depth for talent's really good, and they got Corbin Burnes, and they didn't give up any of their top 10 prospects.
No, they give up a good shortstop, but they don't need that depth at that position because they've
got 3.
Jackson Holiday coming.
Right, they have 3 shortstops under 25.
Yeah,
they can afford to trade a 4th.
Sure. Go to Toronto. Here's my thing with Toronto. You win 89 games last year. You got all this out of this world young talent, and you do next to nothing. For show, they went after Ohtani, right? He wasn't going there.
Yeah.
But you added Justin Turner, which is a good veteran bat. Okay,
yeah,
he'll help. Losing Matt Chapman is it's bad overall. It's bad because of the player he is. Merrifield's gone. Jordan Hicks is gone. They've done nothing.
Yeah, Hyun-Jin Ryu's gone. Hyun-Jin Ryu's gone, and he pitched well when he came back off from injury last year. They're healthy right now. You know what? If their pitching was amazing last year, except for Alek Manoah.
Oh, the pitch. You talk about guys getting destroyed by the pitch clock. I think
they got 89. They won 89 games, and their lineup stunk. Vladdy did not have a good year. Dante Bichette had a so-so year. Chapman went crazy until He turned into Henry Rodriguez, our old fantasy friend who was Mr. May.
Yep.
Great till the Memorial Day, and then cut him. And then after that, he was like 170. We'll see about Kayvon Biggio at second base for a full season. I don't think they're. I mean, George Springer's on the downside of his career. He's still really talented. Kiermaier
he's getting older.
Kiermaier catches everything, but he's not going to carry a lineup at any point in time. I mean, he's just not. So
he's a great glove guy, and that's good.
I think for them, if it's all Vladdy. If Vladdy has an MVP caliber year, they could be very scary. Their bullpen's excellent. Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, they're 87.5 wins. They're, based on win total, they're picked to finish third. They could finish third. They could finish fifth. They could finish first. They're the hardest team in this division to project.
They are.
For me.
You know what's even harder? Keeping me on staff as the show banner guy, because I forgot to use these after all the time I invested.
I know. Your multitasking skills.
The 42 seconds I spent creating them, and I forgot them. Here we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Here we go.
All right. Well, we didn't talk about them in the production meeting. We talked. Yeah. We spent a long time talking about no unwritten rules, and we spent a long time talking about bunting with a no hitter. And we all got in the production meeting that we went off. We got sidetracked, and the pizza sucked. So it's terrible. Elios doesn't do it anymore like a kid in school.
No. It's different in college. There's a lot of things that are different in college.
Yeah. You say so.
Speaking of college, no, I'm not gonna. That'd be a bad joke. Tampa, this has got to be their head go below water, right? They just can't keep doing it. Losing Glasnow's 115 innings that he's going to give him with the handful of starts he's going to give. Wander Franco.
That's a disaster.
That's a disaster.
All the way around. It's a disaster. You know what? If I didn't want the Rays to win 9 games one time, just like they get their 10th win in August. Because the smoke and mirrors thing makes me insane, but they find a way. I mean, they're projected at 8.5 wins. Like the Franco thing that's a mess, right? They ultra talented, sign him to an unheard of thing in Tampa. They give him a big contract, and he played half a year on that contract. And it's hard for me, given the information that's out there about this thing, to think that he's ever playing another inning.
He's done. He's done. When there's evidence there, you talk about change sports a little bit. Why was Ray Rice different than so many other guys who were accused of convicted, admitted DV guys? You know why? Because it was on tape.
Exactly.
With Franco, they have text messages. They have evidence. It doesn't go away when you can see it and read it. It's different.
You know what OJ taught us? Innocent people don't run.
True.
And he was nowhere to be seen when all this court stuff was going on in the DR. The text messages are damning. I mean, and some things that you can understand culturally, some things, but that doesn't mean that you have to be okay with it.
Culture's fine, but laws are a whole different
laws are laws, right? And the law of public opinion is also against his side.
No, it's just bad. There's you can't excuse it.
They've right, so they lose Glass now.
Yep.
He's not hurt yet, but give that a little bit, right? They strengthen their bullpen. Phil Maton, Chris Davinsky, good ads. Strengthen their bullpen. I mean, they got Jose Caballero from Seattle. Who knows? You know what he'll probably end up doing, because it's Tampa? He'll probably end up hitting like 320 and stealing 90 bases for them, because
Okay.
they traded for him because they saw something on, tab 11 of an Excel spreadsheet that showed his splits during early evening games in domes on turf with a catwalk, and they're like, and he's going to end up being unbelievable. The Ryan Pepio part of this Glasnow is the one probably to watch, right? The Dodgers were really high on him.
Yeah.
And it cost them a little bit, but like whatever their rotation is, their best rotations on the injured list, right?
Yeah.
Shane McClanahan's out for the year. Jeffrey Springs and Drew Rasmussen, maybe June, maybe July, maybe not targeted, we expect, like maybe. So they may not have any of those guys, and Zach Eflin's your number one starter. And
look, Eflin was out over his skis a little bit last year, and Savali maybe too. They need Taj Bradley and Shane Baz to be what everybody thinks they are.
Yeah, Taj Bradley was not. He certainly wasn't as advertised.
No, he struggled. He's a young guy, right? He's got the potential.
Yeah, but he really struggled. Like he really struggled. And like you go back to Grayson Rodriguez, who struggled, but you could see signs of improvement as he had more starts. With Bradley, that never happened with Bradley. So that's a little concerning. Yeah, they on paper, they're the worst team in the division, but in reality, they're not.
They're not. And
score behind me, I think the score behind me might be like a preview of many, many evenings at Fenway Park this year.
Well, and look, I got this banner one right. Look, I think
you did.
I think I used this before because it's still in my head, but I'm going to say it again. I think that the Boston Brass went to the winter meetings and they came home with a T-shirt and said, "I went to the winter meetings and all I came home with was Lucas Giolito," because he's a guy I've kept in fantasy baseball, but that was a different lifetime ago.
Boy, it sure was.
He is, whatever happened to him, old age, lost his stuff. He lost it, and he's it. He's the Red Sox guy.
Maybe Spider Tech
But when Rafael Devers is there with a mic with an interpreter today saying they need to get us more, and Jonathan Papelbon went on a podcast, and it's like, what are you doing? Let's go.
What are you doing?
Even going back to the Heim Bloom. I mean, they sleep through the trade deadline every year now. And by the way, folks, I love this topic because I hate the Red Sox, and I'm not even a Yankee fan who hates the Red Sox. Yeah. So this is beautiful. And here's the best thing that happened to the Red Sox this offseason. They lost Chris Sale. And now
that's why they're healthy right now. Because they don't have Chris Sale on their team.
He's a great pitcher.
Yeah, he'll win 19 games in Atlanta this year. Don't fret. He'll be a Cy Young contender this year in Atlanta for Christ's sake.
They couldn't count on him. They'll miss Justin Turner. They're going to trade Kenley Jansen.
They're going to miss Justin Turner. They do have young players who are pretty good.
I love the Vaughn Grissom pickup. I will say that.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Of any lineup that could have absorbed him while he got his feet wet at shortstop, and he'll play second base for the Red Sox, conceivably, as long as Story's arm is back to where it was before. If any lineup could have absorbed him while he, got his feet wet and got comfortable, the Braves lineup was the one to do it. And he couldn't, and he couldn't win that job.
No.
So that's a little concerning. But you know what?
But for both teams,
it's a good trade for both teams, right? The Braves take a flyer on Sale if he gives them anything. That's great. The Red Sox have, they're about a year and a half from a really good second baseman coming up. So it's a good trade, right? He can move to short if Story gets hurt again. I love Trevor Story, but I don't want him to get hurt. I just don't want him to succeed because that would
Yeah, makes
be
sense.
Red Sox-ish, right? Outfield's young. I think they're going to miss Verdugo in that lineup.
Well, they
I
got
think they're gonna
Tyler
miss him.
O'Neill. He's pretty good.
Yeah, but
He was really good down the stretch for St. Louis a year and a half ago in 22. He had a great second half, but he's not there anymore, and they let him go.
Tyler O'Neill, he doesn't get hurt. He gets hurt. He does have an injury issue. He has like 7 opening day home runs. I think he's got like right now he has the most active, I believe. And I'll probably have to now. I got to look it up and not.
You look it up. Well, I do a little public service announcement. You, FanDuel and DraftKings Daily, get Tyler O'Neill in your lineup opening day. This is the show that gives back. We give back. That's what we do.
Yeah, we do. We do give back. I feel like they're wasting Devers a little bit. He's definitely not Garrett Cole's favorite player to pitch to.
They're not good. Boy, I tell you, the best thing happened to the Red Sox is the balanced schedule, and they don't have to play this division 19 times.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, we'll get to some. We'll get to some of the other teams.
What's the Boston over-unders? It's
79.5.
All right, good. Because last year I had it under like 81.5 against the big man in Massachusetts, and I lost. And I'm coming back. I want to reclaim it. I want to reclaim my basketball league.
I want to reclaim it.
I had to pay for his basketball team. That hurt. It was painful.
Yeah, they did win more. They did win more games. They did win more games last year than I thought they were going to win. And they certainly won more games than I hoped they were going to win because they won one. Oh, that's what it is. He's homered in 4 consecutive opening days.
Okay.
Which is amazing that he's actually been healthy enough to play in 4 consecutive opening days. But he's homered in 4 consecutive opening days. So I would find a prop bet for Red Sox opening day anytime Tyler O'Neill home run, and I would bet it because why not?
You know what else is weird? And it's not like the Bruins going out on a West Coast swing for 2 weeks because the circus is in town. The Red Sox, right? They start on the road for like 2 straight weeks.
I wonder why.
I don't know. Man, West Coast swing. I get the warm weather thing, but that's a long time to stay away.
Yeah, it's a long time to be away, but quite frankly, with the season starting, it feels like the season starting, March 1st. But with the season starting that early, and we've talked about this, certainly, not on here, but we've talked about this ourselves forever. Is you got a bunch of teams with domes and a bunch of teams in warmer weather. There's no reason to play opening day in snow. Like you can't.
I agree with that.
If it rains, it rains, but you don't need to play in snow in Cleveland, Chicago, Milwaukee. You don't need to play in 23-degree weather in Boston or New York. You don't need to. I mean, they can definitely balance the schedule in a way that you get to the second week of April and those teams are back home. And I guess it does create a little bit of disadvantage, but in some regards, for teams with expectation, it might actually be better to start on the road because like you lose on opening day in Anaheim, God help you if that happens, but like you lose an opening day in Anaheim and you lose, 2 out of 3 in your first series in Anaheim. At least they're not, the Boo Birds aren't out in game 4.
Yeah.
And then you right the ship and you come back off a 10-game opening road trip.
And that's exactly. Yeah. 4 at Seattle, 3 at Oakland against the Fighting A's, and 3 against the Angels.
Yeah. So if they come back 5-5, because of any of these teams, frankly, even the Yankees, if they came back 5, though, X would be a disaster if they went 5-5 on the road in their first 10. the world would be ending. It would be like, one of the 7 signs of the apocalypse.
Worlds colliding.
But like, if you come back off a 10-game West Coast swing at 5-5, all right, now we're home. And now you can, like, hey, we got some lineup stuff figured out. We're in our rotation. We've had twice through the rotation. We've dealt with any of these weird little nagging injuries, the oblique thing or a little tight hamstring, the stuff that happens. And playing in those environments also helps to avoid some of that for some of these teams. But
yeah,
like, we got 5 more years of this dipshit commissioner, and he doesn't think that way.
No, they actually have a 10-game homestand following that up. So I guess
so that would right. And so when's that start? So that would start like the 10th of April.
That is April 9.
Right. So still a chance for snow in Boston in April.
Yep.
I mean, here in Philly by April 9th, it's 70 degrees most of the time.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to that weather. All right. Predicted order of finish in this division.
I don't care what the numbers say. I'm picking Orioles, Yankees, Blue Jays, Rays, Red Sox.
Yeah, same here. Same here. New York could win the division. I think Baltimore's.
Well, they could.
They could. I mean, they could very easily win the division. If their pitching stays healthy, but I think Baltimore will make a deeper run in October, November. We'll see. I love the Orioles. Like, Adley Rutschman has got, the maturity of, he's way beyond his years.
Yeah,
right.
He sure is. So he's a great example, and we'll always, now that we're focused on baseball, we'll try to put as much fantasy stuff into this perspective as possible. And of course, I was offered Adley Rutschman in a trade, and my comment was, if it was regular baseball, I would take him in a minute.
Yeah.
But for fantasy, there's better options.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about having our fantasy draft and where would I draft Adley Rutschman. We're talking about, I'm starting a team and I need a catcher.
Yeah.
He's one of the first guys I'm grabbing because he does everything.
Yes.
And he's a great face for that franchise. And they've got many places they can go with that. But he says he epitomizes what you want a leader of your franchise to be.
Yeah.
And he's young. And he's a young guy.
Yeah. All right. Now the big unveiling. Would you care to explain to our loyal audience?
Right. So as we were thinking about names for this baseball endeavor, pitch clock and launch angle came up, and then that was panned, and then we polled our viewers in a silent poll who also panned it. And
how do you not like the name the Lollygaggers?
Yeah, I know. I think that was my nickname my first 2 years of Little League. So we came up with a segment that's pitch clock and launch angle, right? The two of the we hate the most about current baseball. But so the segment for pitch clock and launch angle is one of us, and this week it'll be me, will be on the pitch clock. 1 minute, 5 topics, very little commentary about those 5 topics, almost like a hot take. And then the other one of us this week will be Sean, and he will launch one of those topics. We will not measure exit velocity, but we'll see if he barrels it up, and then we'll use like XBO and all these other alphabet soup stats, and we'll determine if his expected outcome met the actual outcome. And then we'll get the hell out. And then we'll get the hell out of here, and then you can watch the whole show, and then you can subscribe, and you can like, and then we can do all that, right? All that,
absolutely,
all that stuff as we continually shamelessly promote our desired expansion of this.
That sounds so perfect.
Like, I don't know. I watched this back a couple of times, and I'm like, I don't know why we'd want anybody else to watch this, but people do.
The graphics department has added the clock to it.
Yeah.
Took me a little help. I had a little help from the good folks here at StreamYard, but it's operational. So I'm going to start the clock, and you start the pitch clock, and you can have at it, my friend.
All right. So topic 1. Yenny or Cano will assume the closer's role in Baltimore by the All-Star break. They're going to rue the day they signed Craig Kimbrell. Trust me. He was Mitch Williams Jr. in Philadelphia. I think his best days are behind him, and he was okay until it got pressure packed. And at the end of the season, he was not very good.
Yeah.
He was not very good at all. They couldn't count on him. He was not very good. I had not checked the over-unders before this next bold prediction, but the Red Sox rotation has the makings of a 75-win team. With Lucas Giolito as their number one guy. Carlos Rodon won 15 games for the Yankees this year. I'm betting on that. The Rays, Randy Arozarena before the trade deadline. Finally, the Blue Jays are going to regret not signing Matt Chapman.
With 1 second to spare. That's
pretty good, right?
Very well done.
Pretty good. That's pretty good. Nice job by the umpire there, keeping me on track. That's a good job by my catcher, keeping me on track and not letting me goof around. I did scuff the ball up a little bit, and I hope they didn't see it. Oops,
so
now an emery board just fell out of my pocket.
I have a minute to use my launch angle and right?
Yep.
Just one? I can only say one?
Just one. Which one of these 5 was the worst of the 5 in your mind?
I don't like saying worst, but I'll say this. I've seen Ed Whitson, the Sonny Gray experience, because he was my favorite player in Oakland. I think whatever edibles you're taking when you think Rodon's going to win 15 games, perhaps you should share with anybody that is so inclined.
Okay.
I don't see it with Rodon. I think he's an injury guy. I know he wasn't right at any time last year. He didn't look it when he was. He looked out of place in New York. And some guys have that makeup. Like Stroman, I don't think Stroman's a great pitcher. I think Stroman's a good guy. He's going to give you good innings. He was an all-star last year with the Cubs. But he can handle New York City, and he loves that environment. I follow him on Twitter. He's great. I don't see it with Rodon. I don't see 15 wins. If he's healthy, maybe you got a shot, but I don't think so.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That was the layup of those 5.
Yeah, well, I agree. I agree with the Chapman thing because I think his bat is actually overrated. And I loved him in Oakland because his defense is elite.
Yeah, it is. He's a platinum glove third baseman.
Yes. He makes his offense, which is a middling average. He'll give you some pop, driving some runs, not going to steal any bases. It's acceptable when you're that good defensively. So I'll give you that. Arozarena, I don't know how they can trade him unless they're just really in a free fall and then you can bring back some assets. The Red Sox, I'm thinking, 75 wins. I agree with that. Yeah, and Cano, if he can handle that role, I don't know why they went out and spent the money on Kimbrell. Maybe they are thinking what you are, right? Bring along the kid in his first reel now that he's had half a year to prepare.
Yeah. He is an elite setup pitcher, though.
Yeah, he is.
He really is. He's really, he's great in a setup role. That was a dynamic 8th and 9th inning when Bautista was healthy. I still don't get it with Bautista. I don't understand how he did what he did, but he did.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think Arozarena is going to get traded because he'll be one more year of arbitration control.
Okay.
And they're $9 million into him this year, and next year is going to be more. Okay. And they know they're not going to be able to sign him, so they might as well get something for him while they can. And they're going to stink.
I just don't like the Rays. They bring nothing to the table. I have no interest in them.
Bring anything. They bring no value to Major League Baseball.
You want to tune into a ball game that's played in a freaking morgue? Turn on a Tampa Bay home game.
Unless they're playing the Red Sox or the Yankees.
Yeah.
If they're playing the Red Sox or the Yankees, it seems like a home game for either of those two teams.
Yeah. So I said it's like a Raider home game. There's more visiting fans by a lot.
Hey, it's April 23rd and it's 51 degrees. Why don't we take a weekend road trip down to Tampa?
Yeah.
And hang out where it's 74 degrees and we'll watch the Yankees play 3 in Tampa in a stadium that's not fit for the Ringling Brothers circus with a fan base that are fans of every other team in Major League Baseball except for the one that's there. And 19,000 in the playoffs prove that.
Yes. I don't
We'll
care.
we'll get into that mess. After we go through divisions, we will get into we'll do a Montreal show, and
yeah, they screwed that up. Hey, before we go, two things. Number one, I'll shout out to this Saturday, A's Fan Fest. The organization is too incompetent to have one themselves. So give a shout out to the good folks at the Oakland 68s and the Last Dive Bar. They're holding their own. They got Trevor Maya. They're coming Coco Crisp. We got a lot of people that are getting donations from all over the place. A Tahoe restaurant, which has on their door that A's front office personnel are not welcome in their restaurant. They're a sponsor. Thank
awesome.
you. Jack London Square. I'm hoping to see a lot of video on it on Twitter because good for them. Next week, you picked. I picked the AL East this week. You can pick the division we're going to go with.
We'll do the AL Central, and we'll work our way through the AL.
Sounds good.
Good. Hey, there's real games being played on Friday. There's actually games with umpires.
Yep.
Being played on Friday, and the first female umpire to umpire Major League games happens starting either Friday or Saturday. She's got a game.
Cool.
That's really cool, man. There's some cool stuff, like the A's hiring not the A's, but NBC hiring a female lead play-by-play announcer for the A's. That's really cool.
Hero got hired also for that. I don't know if it's by the NBC, but one of the A's play-by-plays, Harry Carey's great grandson.
Really?
That got happened today, I think.
No kidding.
I think
and Dallas Braden.
Dallas Braden's awesome.
Which might be worth it'll be worth tuning in to a couple of A's games this year on the A's feed just to hear him do what he does.
Really good.
He's really, really good.
He's
he
really
doesn't hold anything back, that's for sure.
All right. So that said, we will see you all next week.
Yeah.
Enjoy, right?
Same time, same channel. Smash the like button. Baseball season. Let's go.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.